Welcome everybody to a second edition of the J.Burnside show. I'm your host, J.Burnside, and today I'm gonna address something a little bit. As of this moment, I'm trying to do a little bit of change. And I noticed that a lot of times I'm really by myself on podcasts, doing solo shows. So, and our channel on SoundCloud started out with, two people, and that's me and Davion. And it started out with our idea. And and the thing is I think a lot of times he's necessarily busy most of the time. So and then y'all hear for yourselves, the people necessarily who do listen and who do like that. Most of the times I'll be by myself doing this podcast. So I always put the Like the Ignorance podcast, and y'all just hear me. So I decided to do something a little different. So I decided that every time I do a solo show, I was going to just call it my own show, the J. Burnside Show. And every time I can get Davion in here, then it's going to be the Light Ignorance podcast. Because the reason why I feel like, because it's the Enlightened Ignorance podcast is a podcast that me and Davion started. It was both of our ideas and both of our, vision of this podcast leading the place. And I think it's no Enlightened Ignorance podcast without Davion. And since he's, working most of the time, he can't be there. I can't, necessarily come and call and, actually participate most of the time. It's not his fault because work is consuming. So, but I would not. But that don't mean we're not gonna keep dropping content. We're gonna keep dropping the Light Ignorance content as much as we can. But in the meantime, every time I by myself, I will do and every time I do a solo show, it will be called the J. Burnside Show. So every time you see a Enlightened Ignorance podcast on the clip, then it's then on the image, as you can see, it's gonna be me and Davion. But every time you see the J. Burnside Show, it's necessarily just me and me alone. So, but again, like I said, I'm by myself. So, but this is my own show. This is my own entity. I could talk whatever I want. It's discuss anything I want to talk about. And and people don't know this, but I'm an article person. I read a lot of articles, especially whether it's on news or certain topics. I try to read as much as I can. So, I got something little to back me up, and there's several articles that I've read, and I will reread it, but it's not to say it's super long. Well, some of them are long, but I'll probably put my say so in certain news and certain topics, but it's really just about the news and what's going on in the world or what's going on in pop culture. But I necessarily get my intake on these news articles that has popped up. So to get started, let's go to the first one. Bow Wow. Looks like Bow Wow's on the news again. It says right here that Bow Wow puts this is credit to hip hop. Saying talk about Bow Wow, and recently says that he put the So Def tour on blast. I didn't know he was on tour, but it reads, I had no idea that Bow Wow will be a part of the So Def So Summer Tour. It's completely different in younger generation, but good for him, I guess. Bow Wow took to Instagram to blast the tour, as he called it the worst tour ever. Bow Wow claims that those running the tour are playing with his money, and if it wasn't for JD and the kids, he would have quit already. He wrote on I believe it was a Instagram post saying worst tour ever, music business wise. Just give me my money. If it wasn't for the rap game, kids, and the fans, and Jermaine, I would have been off this ish. Now run mines. Don't go texting me either. Y'all got 4 days to run it. Y'all don't listen no other way, so maybe y'all listen now. And yeah, happy Father's Day. Jermaine is not the problem. Me and my dog gonna always be tight. It's also reads that it's so wild to them what year we are in again. So, well, for Bow Wow, if he was able to reinvent himself and appeal to a new generation of kids, carry on. Bow isn't backing down and says that they have 4 days to run his coins. I don't know why they gotta say coins like that, but apparently Bow Wow is most upset at the tour selling shirts with his face on them without him discussing anything about the merchandise. So, this is one of those topics that really don't have nothing to fucking say. I didn't know Bow Wow was on tour. I didn't know there was a So Def tour. So to hear that he is not, he's on a tour, on So Def tour, I get it because he was on So Def, but it's kind of crazy because I didn't know. But then again, it's not to come surprise. I think that's the reason why So Def was ended anyway, because lack of money and lack of business. And right here it shows, Bow Wow's not getting paid. So as a businessman, you put somebody on your tour, you necessarily need to pay them. And you're not paying them, they can necessarily sue you for unpayment, man. And saying this is the worst tour ever. It's kind of, then again, I don't know what's going on backstage, but according to him, it is. This follows by the post that shows him running like crazy. I forgot what freaking city. I want to say Charlotte, North Carolina, but I could be wrong. Running away from some fans, which a lot of people, a lot of people more than none believe that it was just totally staged, and he paid these people to necessarily run, to follow him and run like hell for an Instagram post or whatever. So, but like I said, I gave him the benefit of that. I still think he still got core fans, man. He drops a lot of dope songs, a lot of classic songs that people necessarily remember. So I'm not going to take that away from Bow Wow, man. If he's run away from fans, I'm not really surprised. But at the same time, what fans do still run after their artists? I haven't seen that shit since to the early 2000s. No one even does that shit no more. Like when they pop up, when they see a fan, they be like, "Oh shit, oh I fuck with you. Oh my god, you is such and such. Oh she's such and such. Man, can I get an autograph? Can I take a picture or some shit like that? Stuff like that." But I never seen. It's been a while since I've seen a group of fans necessarily run after the artist. Unless you're a pop artist, maybe a pop artist. I believe Justin Bieber had that when he started out. Had that such a big fan base that it was hard for him to walk outside to his car, and while fans are trying to touch him, grab him, pull on him, and all that stuff. But then again, the difference was they wasn't running after him. Bow Wow was running to his tour bus or whatever. So I think about it is So Def, man, you need to pay your people, man. I don't know what's going on over there, but Bow Wow looks pretty upset, which I do not fault him. If I'm an artist, I would do want to get paid for this tour. I mean, I'm not gonna do this shit for free. So, man, I hope they get that shit sorted out. Let me see. Oh, so the XXL editor was on the Breakfast Club not too long ago. In the reads, shout out to all hip hop for this article. Every year a debate rages from a selections for an annual XXL freshman class cover, which is also super duper true, because every year somebody would debate about this year. Is it better than last year? Is it better than before? Y'all know what my thoughts was on this year. So this year's crop. This year's crop was hit with the same criticism from fans and pundits who wonder why certain artists were not included on the list. XSL editor-in-chief Vanessa Sadin stopped by the Breakfast Club to discuss some of the major omissions from the 2017 class. So one of them, when they talked to her, they pointed out, I believe four artists. She explained the why it was on the class. The first person was Cardi B, or why she was on the class. She responded by saying, "We were on the fence and felt it was more TV, or was she going to go more with the music direction with the music?" No, let me scratch that. Read that again. God damn, can I read? We were on the fence and felt, was it more TV, or was she going to go more in the hip hop directions with the music? Where would her career kind of be more like? It felt like it was much TV heavily. She definitely on our radar, but she didn't come up with a final 10 for us. I guess. On Young M.A., Young Ma. Young Ma said that she was beyond it. She felt like she should be on a solo cover by now. So we said, okay, we'll keep it moving. Once you show you're not really into it and your aspirations are somewhere else, you think you're beyond it, we just say okay. Sometimes the timing just doesn't fit right. She seemed to have a big run a couple of months ago, so for us, it didn't seem the best fit right now, including that she didn't seem as interested. And not so surprised. There was a rumor that Young M.A. did decline of being on the freshman cover list, but looks like that's their reason. She felt like she should be on the actual cover by herself, not on the freshman class. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. She deserved to be on the cover list yet. Again, she dropped music. She just dropped music before, and she's getting a rise and everything. But I don't think she's at that point to where she should be on the cover. Not just yet. And especially when I believe your debut album, I don't know how much it sold, I don't know how many copies it made, but it was a critical acclaim bomb. People didn't really care for it. Critics wise. Fan base wise, I don't know. But yeah. On YFN Lunchi. Lunchi didn't want to play any music for us. He refused. Then the day before the shoot, or a couple of days before the shoot, they called us and said he wanted to play music. At that point, it was too late for us. We had tried every which way. They weren't playing music for us. They called us a few days before and said he'll come up. I be getting this wrong. I believe he said he wasn't going to play music unless he was guaranteed on and wouldn't talk to us. If you're going to play music and work with us and try to be a part of the whole thing and show any interest with it, then you're going to keep it moving after that. Okay, so I guess that's a little miscommunication when it comes to that. When it comes to Lunchi, I think Lucci. I don't know why I'm saying Lunchi. It's not with an N. It's Lucci. It's kind of a miscommunication, man. But I'll say if the editor is correct and that's how the story was actually happened, Lucci got to make up your mind either yes or fucking no. This is XL Mag, so they don't have no time to be waiting on if or if not you want to play your music or not, or some shit like that. So and now you want to wait till like, hey, I want to be on. They already picked their 10, so it was basically it was most likely too late to actually put you on the list. But if he would say yes, I will play music in the first place, he would have been on the freshman list. But due to him not wanting to, and now later on now wanting to, it's already too late and been there and done that. So if it's true. Now on the most infamous part, the most infamous artist that was snubbed, rapper Famous Dex. She stated, "We argue a lot over Famous Dex situation and what we should do with that. there are a lot of political issues right there, and I'm not really sure how long it will take to clear up before to get to the next level. I will say Dex assaulting a woman was a part of it. There's no hurdle to get over here, and I don't know if right now is going to happen. There was a lot of talk about that. We can argue either way. You can say Tentacion, ex Tentacion, has got issues. You can say Famous Dex has issues. I think the difference with Famous Dex having it on camera creates a different situation. We saw it. I think the thing with X is also he's the people's champ and hasn't been found guilty of anything. You kind of have to let that play out. That's who the people wanted. Which I get. I really do get. Because people don't really know. I mean, for people who do know or do not know, Tentacion really got a big fan base compared to Famous Dex. I think Tentacion got a way. If I would do a comparison between Famous Dex and Tentacion, I think Tentacion has a way bigger fan base than Famous Dex. You know, his music is more popular. People follow him much more. And if you can get, like I said, I don't know if I said this or not, but if I said this or if I didn't say it, if anybody can get a whole crowd to say F Drake, that's an accomplishment alone. Because that's not necessarily anything, easy to do when you can get, somebody, a whole crowd, everybody on stage saying F Drake. F Drake, F Drake, F Drake, F Drake, F Drake, F Drake. He got everybody saying that shit. So that was a real concept. I never seen anybody. Meek Mill didn't get his whole, his fans are saying F Drake, F Drake, F Drake, F Drake. Tentacion actually pulled that shit off. And, and if, I'm not gonna lie, if Tentacion was to necessarily not be on the cover, I think a lot of fans would have been more upset than Famous Dex fans would be. Again, difference is Tentacion got a bigger fan base. Now, this whole controversy is not by the fan base. It's based on the editor not, putting Famous Dex on the freshman color because of the history that he has. Now, everybody's seen it last year that it was video of Famous Dex beating up his then girlfriend and assaulting her, I think at a hotel. We don't know what happened. We don't know the story. Or maybe we do know the story of maybe what happened. I just probably don't know. But, and people can argue, well, necessarily if y'all don't, people can argue, well, Tentacion got charged with the same crime. And she basically said the difference is this Famous Dex crime got caught on camera. Tentacion's crime never got caught on camera. So that's one good excuse. And I gotta necessarily disagree. Don't get me wrong, I hear where she's coming from. When it comes to X is the people's champ and, and he wasn't necessarily found guilty of the charge, but I believe he pleaded guilty at the same time. So that's all I know. I'm like, I don't know. Last time I checked, I could have swore Tentacion pleaded guilty and got probation. But I guess not, according to her. But of course, Famous Dex in response got upset, saying F the freshman list, F XXL, F that editor and all that shit. So me and Famous Dex is like, dude, I think it doesn't really matter because people still say, even if you was on the cover, I think people will say this freshman cover is trash. I wouldn't say this year's freshman cover is trash. This is another year of a not good freshman cover list. No offense to the artists at all, to anybody in there. I mean, no offense, none of them. And I don't think they're gonna lose sleep based on my opinion. I don't think they give it 2 cents. But at the same time, XSL has become one of those covers to people. It became one of the only covers that people really care about now. Like I said last week, it's became the only urban cover in the industry that people give a shit about. If it's not nothing had to do with XXL freshman cover list, they don't care. They really don't care. But Famous Jesse got mad. He said F all of them, and I'll say it's let's keep moving, because either way, whether you was on there or not, people still would have said this year was another bad class. But I digress. Other people that necessarily missed out on there was T Grizzly. I heard about him. Don Q, Russ, Black, Nick Grant, which I fuck with Nick Grant, Day, Nave, and Ski Mask or Slump God. So, I mean, it is what it is. She gave the explanation on the forum. I guess to her, the forum and people, that people wanted to know why they wasn't on the list. But you only can pick 10, so what can you do? Next up, jeez, man, this one hurt me. Taxtone, one of my favorite podcasts to listen to at the time. I couldn't listen to him every week, more to listen to The Read or The Brilliant Idiots or First Take or The Corner and shit like that. But Taxtone is one of those podcasts that it never disappointed me. It was always interesting to watch. I mean, not watch, but listen to. But Taxstone legal battle surrounding the May 2016 Irving Plaza shooting is getting more serious, and now things is taking a new turn. The podcast personality, who was arrested back in January, has pleaded guilty to 2 federal weapon counts, which means he can be facing some serious jail time following his indictment for the charges. I mean, according to New York Daily News, tax season host, whose name is Daryl Campbell, had a court hearing Tuesday on June 15th, where he copped to firearm possession as a felon and admitted to receiving a firearm to interstate commerce in connection to the venue shooting of NYC last year. The U.S. Attorney's Office did not charge Tax with murder, but they do believe he brought the firearm into the venue and shot one shot that killed Ronald McFadden, Troy Ave's bodyguard, who died in the crossfire. The legal team says DNA has discovered that the 31-year-old podcast personality on the weapon and left McFadden dead. If Tax is convicted of the charges, he could be facing up to 20 years in prison. McFadden died from his injuries in the shooting, and prosecutors say DNA from Troy Ave, Ronald McFadden, and Daryl Campbell all show up in the murder weapon. Previously, the attorney had charged Troy Ave with attempted murder for his involvement in the shooting, which the rapper reported, contend as self-defense. Tax intentionally given a $500,000 bail, but it was quickly revoked after the government implied that it would be a more serious charge filed against him. Oddly enough, those charges, such as assault of murder, has not been given. The podcaster's lawyer has claimed that Troy Ave is one who should be behind bars without bail, and he is the one who was holding the gun in security footage of the fateful evening. McFadden's family also blamed the rapper for his bodyguard's death. Hopefully this case can be resolved peacefully. So he just pleaded guilty to 2 counts. So basically it's telling me that he is going to get, if he get convicted of these charges, even though he pleaded guilty, if he's convicted, he could be facing up to 20 years. Now that's a fucking long time, and that's really hurts, and that sucks. But then again, I think if he didn't plead guilty and he actually fought for it, then he probably, if he would have fought this and took it to court, his innocence, and if he was, uh, convicted and they found him guilty, he could have been probably facing life. You know, but now there's a possibility he could be facing 20 years, which is still a long time, despite of life or whatever. But my heart goes out to Taxstone, man. I never thought in the world he would have something involved with it, especially when clear as day they said it itself. It's the DNA shows both Troy Ave, Taxstone. I think even the bodyguard. I guess the shows both DNA on the gun that killed McFadder. The Troy Ave's bodyguard. So it really sucks to hear that, man. I could have. I felt like he was innocent. I felt like he had nothing to do with it. But I don't know really what to say. It sucks to hear that. It really does. It really does. But what's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. And when you do wrong, you got to face the consequences, because what goes around comes around. But man, I don't know really what to say. But Taxstone, man, this sucks to hear that, man. It really does. Keep your head up, man. Let's see. So Young Thug stirred up some controversy lately. The Young Thug stirred up some controversy after comparing himself to the late Tupac Shakur in a recent tweet. I'm getting sick and tired of this shit. He dropped EBBTG on Tupac's birthday because, he stated in saying, I dropped EBBTG on Tupac's birthday because I am the hashtag new Pac, Thugger wrote on Twitter earlier Sunday morning. Naturally, it was met with more criticism than praise, and recent fellow Atlanta MC Lucci, who we just got through talking about, decided to reply on Thug's comments by throwing shots his way. He said that Pac would never wear a dress, he wrote, attaching a clown emoji on the statement. These slick words let off some serious tweets from Young Thug's side, in which he asked Lucci if he was little mad or big mad, even after it was far to warn Lucci that doing too much could keep a deep sleep. Interesting enough, Lucci also dropped off a Lock Pac track, basically a song called Like Pac, falling in line with Thugger's in comparison to an extent. It seems that everyone seems to think there's Tupac these nowadays, but it certainly goes without saying that they can be only one. So credit to all New Hip Hop, for the article. My thought is I necessarily agree. Not agree with, Thugger is calling himself Tupac, I agree that there's only one. There's really only one Pac in this world, and to see everybody calling themselves the new Pac, from fucking Troy Ave to Boosie Badass, no shade to Boosie or Troy Ave, but everybody calling themselves the new Pac. It's a roll your eyes kind of thing, man. You really get tired of hearing that shit. Everybody wanted to be Pac, but nobody want to be themselves. Nobody want to have their own identity. Nobody want to put their own legacy or make their own legacy. They just want to be compared by other people. And I get it. Tupac is a type of person. It was a type of person that influenced a lot of people, and his music inspired a lot of people. But at the same time, ain't you want to be better than your peers though? At the end of the day, if you're an artist, and you really care about the music and you really care about the craft, ain't that we all trying to do be better than our peers and the people that we look up to? And doing a comparison to Pac is just it's stupid because people necessarily want to be like him, and you cannot be like him. So stop trying to be like him and actually be yourself. Don't be that person that can people say, oh, he was the modern day Tupac, he was the new generation of Tupac, all that shit. No, you say no. Young Thug was Young Thug, man. No one can outdo Young Thug because Young Thug was in his own lane. Same as Troy Ave, same as Boosie Badass. And for them necessarily say shit like that, even though it's not offensive to me, but it's like a roll your eyes moment. Don't what you want to compare to Tupac for, man? Tupac is his own entity, man. He was his own self. I ain't see anybody comparing Pac to anybody else in the early days of hip hop at all. And to see everybody want to be compared like them, just want to be like him, that's fine to an extent. If you're trying to be the artist that leaves this earth very influential like Pac, then I can get that. But you trying to just be like, yes, I'm the second coming of fucking Pac. No, man, no. And now Young Thug calling himself the fucking new Pac. What makes you feel like you're the new Pac? What music or what statement or what you ever done, that make you feel like you the new Pac at all? I mean, think about it. Like Lucci says, Tupac would never wear a dress. Tupac would never wear a fucking dress. And you can talk about, he's just mad. Oh, he just mad down Pac. No, it's true, because Pac would never wear a mother effing dress. No, not the Pac I know. Not the Pac that I know, not the Pac that people know, not the Pac that people, look up to, idolize, want to be like, apparently. No, and not the Pac I know, man. And I don't know what necessarily makes you think in your mind that you are the next Pac. What music or what have you done to prove that you are the new Pac at all? I think he's gonna get a little bit of explanation, and I'm gonna hear what he had to say. But I really don't have anything. This whole being new Pac is just, guys, we gotta stop. Let's let Pac rest in peace. This is why he can never rest. He can never effing rest because shit like this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking too deep into it, or not. I mean, I may be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just putting my point of view. But I think it's just people need to stop calling themselves the new Pac. It's just not. Just be yourself. Just build your own legacy. You don't want to leave this earth saying, oh yeah, he'll compare it to this one. That means compared to that artist. That means the artist was better than you. Like you will like that person, but he will always forever be more popular and more inspirational and more giving, more loving compared to you. And you don't want that shit. Build your own legacy, do something that people remember you by, That's how I necessarily feel about it. But yeah, I don't know what Thug is talking about, but his album, Beautiful Thugger Girls, did came out. It is executive produced by Drake. I'll probably be reading a review on next week's show. Whatever the review comes out, and the reason why I just read the review is because I'm not gonna listen to that shit. I'm not nowhere near a Young Thug fan. Young Thug does not appeal to me. I don't really care for him, but it's a roll your eyes moment. So. What else? We could talk about something positive. Well, no, it's not gonna be positive. I'm gonna take that back. It's because it's ignorant. SZA, shout out to SZA. Full length studio album Control has been a massive success to her in every measurable way. That's the right word for it. She had the best sales this week she ever had as an artist. At the part of the key has been revealing her true self in her music, which is also fucking very true. And I listened to the album. I thought the album is really, really great, and it was well done. But unless you ask Azealia Banks, anyway, the always outspoken rapper who took a look at SZA's video for her song Drew Barrymore and believes she is clear inspiration of SZA's work. Bank herself. She shared what she thinks is evidence to a side-by-side photo on her Instagram, which she has since deleted from her page. In the comment section of her post, Banks went even further, accusing record labels and agencies to trying to recreate my ish and saying they should hire her to be an A&R. She would eventually put up a separate post. She's claiming that she is not trying to tear down SZA. That one got deleted too, but screenshots on the internet live forever. Well, of course. While you can't rule out SZA's borrowing style elements from Banks, which I don't believe, it's important to note that the cover Banks shared of her own ripped off adopt its name from one of the most famous rappers on the planet. When you so obvious borrowing from someone else is the very picture you're using to prove a point, it's dualities. I don't know how to spell that. Your messages, and it's not as though big hats and skimpy clothes is something Banks originated, which is also very true. Plus, if you listen to SZA has to say, she doesn't seem too concerned with other people's input on her work. When she appeared on a recent episode to Everyday Struggle, shout out to Joe Budden and GJ Academics, she shared with us that she doesn't even like writing for other artists because she doesn't feel true to herself and says her focus is solely on what's meaningful to her. She stated, when you make an album, you only have your favorite albums from your favorite artists, she said, and you don't come close to touching them. How do you satisfy myself sonically? It doesn't really sound like someone who's interested in ripping off Banks or anyone else, and for that matter. It wouldn't be the first time Banks came sideways to another artist, as she was less interested in internet beef, or more interested in making let me read that again. It wouldn't be the first time Banks came sideways at another artist, and if she was less interested in the internet beef and more interested in making career moves, maybe she will come out on the positive end of a headline very so often, which I necessarily do agree. Credit to complex.com for that article. And my necessarily thoughts on it is, when I saw this news from DJ Academics page, this is just the title alone, just like, again, why? I'm just like, oh, come on, really, Azealia? Every time, it's every time when you hear Azealia Banks, it's never anything positive. It's always something fucking negative. And I don't understand. It's an issue or a problem, but she always end up being on the negative limelight. That's why she haven't dropped music that people listen to. That's why most musicians and people in the labels and stuff like that don't even want to fucking work with her because of her sticking attitude. I don't fucking get it. I mean, based on what you see, a lot of people will probably agree with me and that she really came off as a hater. I don't know, Punch necessarily talked to Hip Hop DX, and show the original picture of what SZA got her inspiration from, and it was nowhere near what Azealia Banks. And I hear what she's. You can hear what she says. She's not claiming she's dissing. She's not trying to diss it. So she's just saying she feels like people trying to take her style and doing to just be like her. I wouldn't fucking say that at all. I wouldn't say that at all. But it's just every time you hear Azealia Banks, it's always something wrong. It's always an incident. It's always an argument. Whether she's over there tweeting about somebody, whether she talking shit about somebody, it's always fucking negative. It's never something positive. And necessarily, and I do agree with the article. I think if she just, focus on her music rather than other people, I think her career could be, a little bit more on the rise compared to what it is now. Cause even fucking Pharrell, like, nah, I don't want to work with her. Like, she's so fucking difficult. Her fucking attitude, man. It's just, it's like it's a head scratch that I don't think I would never ever stop at all, because this woman she is so confusing to me. I don't know what is her deal or what is her problem. But SZA one of my favorite female artists, female singers at that. And I love me some SZA, and I respect SZA, and I think she's so fucking different, and she has something interesting fucking to say. But not to say any other singers I don't have interesting to say, but her style and her flow and her tone of voice and her singing is like, it's really dope, and I really fuck with it. As well as my sister says, as well as my sister Kwanzaa. I mean, last time I checked, Kwanzaa knew SZA through me, because I knew SZA before my sister did. So when she heard who SZA was, she fell in love with SZA straight off the bat. And at first, I didn't think my sister gonna like her, based on her style is so different. It's so different from any other female artist, and I don't think it was gonna be appeal to her. But again, I was wrong. She actually heard SZA and she enjoyed SZA, and I've been enjoying SZA since. Not to say I didn't get the albums, because I'll be lying if I got her projects, because I didn't, because I was too busy in the head of hip hop. But at the same time, I always respected her, and in her singing and her style, it's different, and I like it, and it's something that I like. But back to Azealia Banks, this girl got an issue. I don't know what's her freaking deal, what is her problem, but every time you turn around, it is something bad, and you just roll your eyes at Azealia Banks now. It's not you, like, if I like what would I would tell her. Yeah, I ask myself, what would I tell Azealia Banks? I would just tell her. I'm not gonna tell her. I'll just ask her, just why all these incidents? Why every time I turn around, I'm hearing on the news, it's always something negative about you, not anything positive. What is your deal? What is your problem? Why are you all this way? You got a bad history? I mean, do you had a bad childhood? Because if that's the case, then you need to necessarily see a counselor or a therapist or something. You need to talk to somebody. And last time I checked, I thought she was going to therapy for anger management, but I could be freaking wrong. However, but yeah, man, it's like she freaking needs some help, and I don't know, man. She and like I said, and like the article said, she don't need to be worried about what SZA's doing, and she just need to worry about what she's doing, and that's all I gotta say about that. So, it's official now. Jay-Z will be releasing his 13th studio album, 444, on Friday, June 30th. Woo! He will headline Made in America, Austin City Limits, and Meadows this summer, and likely take the album on a lucrative world tour. Rock Nation has successfully kept details about the project under wraps. They started teasing mysterious 444 billboards, starting popping up across New York City earlier this month, and Foreman announced the album Monday morning. Here's everything they know about the project. So, this Agnes snippet. Shortly after Foreman announcing the album Monday morning, Hove shared a 30-second snippet from the song titled Agnes. I think you hear letter to my dad that I never wrote, speechless. I prepared that I can't even speak today. So letter to my dad that I never wrote, speeches I prepared that I never spoke, words on the paper that I never had, Prose never pen. I said had never read or read. Yeah, words on the paper that I never read. Prose never penned. They stay in my head. That's pretty dope. Yeah, so letter to my dad I never wrote. Speeches I prepared that I never spoke. Words on the paper that I never read. Prose never penned. They stay in my head. Proses never penned. They stay in my proses. Wow. So that's the first thing. The second thing, it might be a visual album. During Game 3 of the NBA Finals, title debut this following minute-long trailer featuring, I'm going to get his name wrong, and he's one motherfucking cool ass actor. Mashir Shala Ali. See, I knew I'm gonna fuck it up. I'm like, and he's a dope ass actor. I don't care what anybody say. That that dude's a dope ass actor. Lupita Nyong'o. Dude, I gotta know these people's names. And of course, the GOAT, Danny Glover. Ooh, y'all should know Danny Glover. Not Donald Glover, but Danny Glover. He's the GOAT. You can watch freaking Color Purple. The dude's the GOAT in the acting business. Don't be surprised if Jay-Z released 444 as a visual album, a la Beyonce's Lemonade. So that's something. The third thing that producers has logged time in the studio this year with Switch Beats and Zaytoven. According to LA-based filmmaker Chris Black, 444 is produced entirely by No ID. More likely, No ID is the album's executive producer. And the last thing is it will be available exclusively on Sprint and Tidal. It should come as a surprise that no one who has followed Jay-Z's partnership of Tidal and 444 will be released as a Sprint and Tidal exclusive. Sprint required a 33% ownership stake on Tidal and $22 million earlier this year. And Hove released Magna Carta Holy Grail, as y'all know, as a Samsung exclusive in 2013. So that's what necessarily everybody knows about what's going on with the 444. That's all they necessarily know. Credit to, I believe, all hip hop. I go to their articles a lot because I love their shit. But yeah. Now, I heard about the 444 and I was just as confused as everybody else. But the big, secret was it was going to be an album. Then people said, no, it might not be an album. It might be something else. It might be a movie or some shit. Turns out it was going to be turns out it's not an album now. So I'm not necessarily happy. Why? Well, then again, I don't know why I'd be happy about it. Because Magna Carta Holy Grail, a lot of people, critic-wise, did not care for it. But I do appreciate, and me, got it. I'm like, okay, now I listen to it. Yeah, I can see why people would say that. But I do appreciate the album to introducing me to Wonder Girl, because I've been a Wonder Girl fan ever since. But I don't know when it comes to this. We might just get that's a braggadocious album. This is again, Jay-Z is at a point that he has nothing to prove. He has nothing else to prove. He had nothing else he feel like he need to, say or do. So he could probably just be another braggadocious album. But I think probably most core Jay-Z fans are necessarily excited that the album is coming out on June 30th. I don't know. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna read the reviews and listen. Once I read the reviews and if it's good, then I'll check it out. If it's not, I'm not gonna bother with it. But that's what the whole 444 cryptic shit going on. And to hear Sprint is now owns 33% of ownership of Tidal. Like, seriously, man, Jay-Z is trying so hard to get Tidal up to where Spotify and Pandora. I think it passed. I don't know. It passed Pandora, but it's trying to put up over those big obstacles, and it's crazy because I believe Apple Music. Seriously, especially Apple Music. Apple Music came out after Tidal, and then it got more it got more rises than freaking Tidal did quick. But then again, it's Apple. Apple is one of the most exclusive and most popular businesses like in the world. So seeing they Apple Music, yeah, they're gonna fuck with it. So let's see what it says. Let's check it out. I mean, it is, since it's the 22nd. It's coming in for the next 8 days? 8 days until this album come out, and then it's executive produced by No ID, one of the most famous producers in the world, and most famous and most respected producers in the world. They're all produced by him. Nobody else. Executive producer. Yeah, this got to be something, man. Jay-Z, you better pull this off good, man. And we don't know if it's gonna be a visual album or just a regular album. We also see that he might be taking a chapter off of Beyonce's book when it came to Lemonade visual album. He probably do the same thing here. He did have a 30-second snippet of Ali, boxing, with Danny Glover, holding the bag and shit. So might be that. We don't know, but we'll check that out, man. We'll definitely check that out. And other than that, I think it's a Spotify. I mean, nothing really going on with Spotify. This Spotify is testing a new ad called Sponsor Songs on its free service, which is letting record labels to pay Spotify to put sponsored songs on people's playlists, especially when it's free. So I think you're forced to hear a song or whatnot. But this is just something more that doesn't really that really don't do anything for its subscribers or its audience. It's just more for them to get paid. So that's more of a success that they doing anything necessarily to keep get more money. So that's what really got nothing to say about that. But that's the second edition, or that is another episode, or whatever you want to call it, of the J.Burnside show, man. Make sure you keep liking us, keep listening to us, keep fucking with us. Of course, this is going to be on SoundCloud. If you don't want to listen on SoundCloud, it'll be on YouTube. Check us out. I am trying to see if I can make a fan page of Facebook. I don't know, but don't quote me on that. But I do need to try to get social media going. Y'all can necessarily follow me on J.Burnside _94. That's JBRN. Okay, can I spell my last name? JBURNSIDE _94. But y'all check me out there. Even though I hardly post pictures, I'm too honest. I'm too fucking honest. But thank y'all for listening, man. I hope y'all like my new show. I hope y'all fuck with it. I hope y'all fuck with my show as much as y'all fuck with Light Ignorance Podcast. Is something I'm trying to do different. Again, this is the Light Ignorance Podcast. It's a me and Devion thing, so I'm not going to necessarily keep a podcast that's really meant for me and him, and he's not there. And so when the days I do solo, I'm gonna make it my own show, and I'm gonna talk anything and everything, just like the Light Ignorance Podcast, and just same thing, just by myself. That's just as you see in the previous episodes. But I thank y'all. I love y'all. Check us next week. You may never know. You might get another solo show by me, or you might get a show with me and Davion. Check us out next week. I love y'all, and I thank y'all, and peace out.